Glad to have you back with us as we continue on Let's Chat. Our attorney friend Jerry Summers is here talking about his latest book. And this book kind of picks up where book number 1 left off. It's about the late Judge Ralston Schoolfield. The book is called Out of the Ashes. The author's right here, Jerry Summers.
Thank you,
Jerry.
Chip.
Hey, the second book, again, it picks up pretty much where the first one left off. Give us a nutshell on Judge Schoolfield. He was kind of a controversial, polarizing figure in a lot of different ways.
You could describe him along with Roy Moore and Donald Trump in a lot of ways. He had a lot of faithful followers and voters, but he was unique. He was controversial. He's unorthodox. He was a successful trial lawyer from a very successful family. His father was a great lawyer. He was always involved in politics. He became a friend of President Truman. He involved with Jimmy Hoffa, James Earl Ray. Involved on the fringes. You know, he didn't belong to the Klan, but he was supported by the Klan. He was involved in the White Citizens Council. He was just a controversial person.
Colorful guy.
Colorful, and he was always very gracious around women. He wouldn't have harassment. The ladies always said he always doffed his hat, treated them fine. Of course, I don't know if you open the door now, that might be a problem. But he was rough as a cob when it came to men. He could talk like a sailor and made unorthodox rulings with an unorthodox judge. The first book got up to his impeachment on July the 12th, 1958.
And refresh us about the impeachment.
Well, they brought 31 charges against him. Him and Governor Frank Clement didn't get along, and it finally boiled in that he got charged in the Tennessee General Assembly with impeachment, which they, at that time, would remove you from office. They tried him. He was convicted on 3 minor charges. The big charges, where he was found not guilty. They lost, his enemies lost out on the effort to keep him from being able to hold public office. So then he said he was going to practice law, but they stayed after him in the Tennessee bar, and the Chattanooga bar went after him to disbar him. And the impeachment trial lasted 6 weeks. That's why the book's bigger.
Right.
The disbarment lasted 6 hours, but then it continues the legal proceedings, the appeals, and so forth. And he ran, and in fact, he was running in another race when he's still under impeachment trial.
But he attained a judgeship despite being impeached and despite being disbarred.
Right. They always said he had about 15,000 people would vote for him no matter what, like Trump and more.
Sure.
And people that have charisma. But he in '74, he discovered a loophole in the law. Chattanooga had grown into the population window the same as Knox County. We didn't have to be a lawyer. He had been impeached. He'd been disbarred. But he ran. In fact, he was elected to what's now the Hamilton County Commission. He served his name. He was either a candidate or mentioned as a candidate in every race. He stayed active. And then in '74, he led the ticket. From '74 to '82, it was really interesting because his enemies were afraid he was going to be vindictive. He wasn't. Most of the latter part of the book is comments by old lawyers who were young lawyers then about how fair he was to him. He had a rule: the law firm that got after him, he would not hear their cases. He said, "I can't win in that." And it goes up to his death on October the 5th, 1982, after he'd had turned it a charity event at the convention center, the Love of Chattanooga, Dorothy Patton. And even in death, he went home and he had a heart attack. And I'll save that for anybody who buys the book. But even in death, he was controversial because the way they reported how he died was controversial. Dalton Roberts got upset. A lot of other people got upset. But he was a unique individual, and he's a very historical person.
And you got a DVD in the back of this book as well.
That's right. I was able to get that from the public library. It's about a 4 or 5 minute DVD of him talking about Chattanooga. Just to let people know who he was. Sure. A lot of people don't. It doesn't talk about the his career or anything other than just living in Chattanooga.
Where can we get a copy of the book?
Call my office.
Okay.
We at 265-2385 in the James Building. There's also a few left of Volume 1 that we...
Great set of those to make perfect stocking stuff.
Right. If your dad or granddad is still alive, that they would know Ralston Schoolfield. Young folks don't know him, but the reason I wrote this because he's really a part of the history of this city.
No doubt about it. Jerry, we hope to come back and we'll go into a little bit more depth on this book. Get them both. Call Jerry's office at 265-2385. And again, they're in the James Building downtown. You can find out more about it on the website as well, summersfirm.com. That's summersfirm.com. Stick around. We have more of Let's Chat right after this.